coming out with the backstab as well, and RDU was able to climb back into that. Now finds himself in a comfortable position in the series because of it. And now we are going to see the Malygos Rogue coming up against Shaman from RDU. Shaman, the class that has been hit harder than any in the recent nerfs, and the class that is still arguably the strongest class in the game.
It's the only class that all 8 players chose to bring, and I was just about to start talking about it, but there is a card in RDU's hand that if I said, like, let's say a year ago that we would be seeing this card in competitive events, nobody would have believed me.
You would have been laughed out of the building, Savits. But yeah, unbelievably, the strategy of taking your totems and making them mighty for 0 mana has become a real thing thanks to that other card that RDU has drawn this turn, the Wicked Witch Doctor, which just allows you to flood the board so quickly, leverage cards like Primal Fusion, like Bloodlust, like Flame Tongue Totem. I personally love this deck. I think it's potentially the strongest build of Shaman out there right now.
Really?
No surprise that RDU has brought it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the deck as well, and I do think that it is quite strong, but I'm not sure if I think it's the strongest version of them all. But yeah, it's really impressive to see that that card has evolved from just being a meme.
No, Evolve is an entirely different meme. So it's
my bad.
Yeah, this is Totemic Might. No, but yeah, Barnes being drawn here. Barnes is a very high value card in this deck as well. But quite often you're looking to play it when you have some extra mana available to you, because one of the most powerful things you can get is the Thunderbluff Valiant. But also just things like Flame Tongue Totem, Manatide Totem, Argent Squire, if that's in the list, is something that, you know, it's just the card if you pull it out from Barnes. But RDU is not actually running any Squires, so he's got a decision to make here about how he wants to address this board. He can even just choose to go with a Flame Tongue turn to address the Tomb Pillager immediately. Yeah,
I don't know how much I like that. Witch Doctor, he's just gonna go for it right here, play the Totemic Might.
His totems are so mighty right now, Savits.
What does it do? Like, it still dies to the Tomb Pillager.
It does. But it's the only thing he can do to make a push here, really. Basically, he's pulling a lot of his minions outside of range, at least, of you know, spot removal from the Rogue hand, which means that the Wicked Witch Doctor and the Manatide Totem were both priority targets on the board. So essentially, he's used his Witch Doctor here to keep his Manatide Totem alive on the board long term.
That is really interesting, and ShtanUdachi also prioritizing it so highly to remove that Witch Doctor.
Oh, you have to as Rogue, for sure. Like, once that board goes wide, you just cannot ever answer it with the Rogue deck. You know, it gets out of range with Totemic Might and Primal Fusion of things like Preparation Fan of Knives with an Azure Drake or something like that. So you essentially just wait to die to Bloodlust at that point if you let them go off with Wicked Witch Doctor.
Makes sense. I have to admit that I'm not all that familiar with this deck, this type of Shaman list just yet. I played it a bunch of times, but wow, the Manatide is still there. I'm just so used to like prioritizing the Manatide so highly. RDU finally getting a Hex. He actually didn't get just 1 Hex, but he got 2 Hexes, so he could Hex that Tomb Pillager. We talked about it earlier, how it can be a very kind of like impactful to Polymorph in the previous match that when ShtanUdachi was playing this, that the Hexing the Tomb Pillager, taking away that coin is quite huge.
Right. The only downside to it is that it means a very slow turn on RDU's side, only really developing the Totem Golem, which then prevents him from having a Thunderbluff turn on the next turn. But with that thing from below in your hand, you don't mind taking a slow turn or two, because you know you can have an explosive turn at some point with the 0 mana thing from below. But that is a huge backstab here, and he has the weapon equipped. Okay. Yeah, so he paused as well, which like scared me, as if he realized that he'd just prepped before the backstab. I forgot he did have the Stormforged axe equipped.
Oh, this board is looking so strong from ShtanUdachi right now, and RDU does not have any Lightning Storms in his Shaman deck. He does play 2 Maelstrom Portals, but those are inefficient in clearing the 3 and 4 health minions. Even with spell power, it wouldn't be enough to take those off the board. So I don't really know, like, RDU is really, I think RDU is really up against it here, and he almost needs a miracle to come back.
Yeah, RDU has definitely got himself into a bit of a mess here. Hasn't drawn a Maelstrom Portal early enough to be able to address this board. No Storm is interesting. It's a build of the deck that I've been messing around with as well. The classic list that people are currently in top 5 Legend or so with does play 1 Storm. I took out Storm for an Argent Squire. RDU has took out Storm for a Ragnaros, which is two very different perspectives on what this deck needs, but definitely suffering the loss of the Lightning Storm right now, staring down this board.
Is it Malygos time? There's also those 2 Auctioneers, which would be incredible.
That'll do!
Best deals anywhere. Wow. That is so strong, getting those free card draws, because he would have been using the spells anyway to deal with what RDU has on the board. So that Barnes effectively just getting him 2 cards and providing another like kind of huge threat on the board. Not huge in the sense that it would have great stats, but the ability is very scary.
Yep, and with no Maelstrom Portal in sight for RDU, even if he wanted to deal with the Auctioneer, he'd have to just go ahead and hex it, and that would leave the entirety of ShtanUdachi's board remaining. So I don't see a way out of this for Radu. I think we might just end up seeing a concede this turn. I forgot about the Ragnaros, though. That is potentially an out for him, but even that looks like it's probably not good enough in this situation.
That had to be the best one he could hope for. But it's just like, he's so far behind, and it's, even if he gets the best hit, like you said, it's just, which might be that, it's just no good. Ragnar's to file out 1/1, but still dealing 8 damage with the ability. So powerful.
Yep, definitely one of the strongest cards to consider including in your deck if you are playing Barnes. Just so powerful to pull out with that effect, but ShtanUdachi is going to deal with it pretty comfortably here, and now with Emperor coming down, that is just going to be the game. Inevitable conclusion here. No way RDU can beat both the board and the damage from hand next turn with the discounted burst spells.
Yeah, RDU cannot heal with the deck that he has, and he cannot kill his opponent. It's not possible to deal enough damage. The game is just over, and ShtanUdachi